All right, so this is going to be our yearly video covering predicting the 2024 MLB season. Um, we're just going to go around wondering how each of our specific teams are going to do, who's going to win each division, who's going to win Player of the Year, who's going to win each conference, and ultimately who's going to win it all, who's going to win the World Series. So we're going to start with Jason. How successful do you think the Yankees are going to be this year?
Man, if you'd have asked me that question like a week and a half ago, I'd have had a whole different answer. I mean, I love that they got Soto. I mean, that's the sexy pick. Um, but it's really going to come down to how serious, Garrett Cole's arm issue is. If he's able to come back in the time frame they're saying, then we'll compete for the division. If not, we're going to waste all those picks, and Soto's only guaranteed a year this year. Um, Cashman keeps going back to, well, we got Carlos Rodon and we got Marcus Stroman now, and uh, they've been very, very wishy-washy in spring training so far. I mean, one day they'll go out and they'll give up 6 runs, and then the next day they'll come out and they'll be flawless. So, yeah, I think it's going to come down to Garrett Cole and how soon he can come back. I do like that Austin Wells is in the discussion to be the starting catcher. That was an area that they needed to address sooner last year, and then they waited until we were out of the playoffs to start bringing these guys up. But he's been mashing in spring training, so we'll see. And then, like I said, Soto and Judge, man, that's such a deadly combination, 2 and 3. It's just, gosh, I hope they don't waste them. It's going to come down to how soon Garrett Cole can come back. If
Mhm.
he comes back like the time they're saying, then I think we'll be all right. But they're making me nervous because, man, they're in on everybody. They've been in on Blake Snell. Now they're in talks with bringing Jordan Montgomery back. Then what? Dylan's what's his last name? Cease from Chicago at the time. They were in talks with. So I don't. The Yankees are notorious for downplaying injuries and not giving the whole truth. I mean, shoot, it took them what 2 months last year to tell us that Judge had a broken toe, and then they didn't know Anthony Rizzo had a concussion for about 2 months too. So I don't trust them a whole lot. So we'll see. I don't, anybody's guess right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk more my opinion on the Yankees. We'll talk more about like how like we feel about each other's teams well when we get to the divisions, but um yeah, we'll talk about the Yankees later. Liam, how do you feel about the Royals?
Uh, they're the Royals. Not not gonna get my hopes up. I liked some of the signings that we've actually like made some moves because the past few years it's just we're gonna work with what we have and what we have isn't good. Um, so I like the moves, bringing in some veteran pitchers, and then I really enjoyed the Bobby Witt contract extension, making him one of the highest paid players in Royals history. And the division isn't good, so I'm not going to put out of the question, but I don't see them being good this year either.
Yeah, I'm I feel happy. I feel really good. I can't wait to see the Phillies. I don't know if I've said that for a very long time. I mean, last year I picked the Braves to win. Um, this year we'll see. We'll get to that with my NL East predictions. But how successful do I think the Phillies are going to be? Um, I I think they're going to be a really good team this year. I think that so the last couple years we start off terrible, and it looks like all right, there goes the Phillies season, and then second half it's like this big like boost of energy, this energy that like the entire MLB is watching. Every MLB fan is watching teams go to Philadelphia. And this year I feel like everybody's healthy going into the year. Everybody's the roster looks great. Pitchers look great, batters look great. Everyone looks like they're doing great. So I think I mean might as well go into who's winning the NL East because I think the Phillies are going to win the NL East. I know I've picked the Braves before. I think the Phillies finally, instead of being good the second half, they finally pick it up at the beginning. I think they get to 100 wins this year. I mean, yeah, I could go off all day long talking about Bryce Harper, Zach Wheeler, JT Realmuto, Trey Turner, Nick Castellanos, Kyle Schwarber, and I could keep going. Uh, but the reason I'm picking the Phillies over the Braves is the Braves just they look like they're getting older. And it's crazy because a couple years ago we were saying like how young this Braves team is. They're probably gonna be really good for years. And now it's the Phillies. The Phillies average age. The Phillies are younger than the Braves, which is honestly it's kind of shocking to think about, but um they got they got a lot of older veterans. They got Adam Duvall who's aging, Charlie Morton, Chris Sale. Like these guys aren't getting any younger. Um Yeah, when it comes to the season, I mean, I think age is going to play a factor when it comes to those teams playing. I think whoever's the home team each series is going to win, but I think the Phillies are just they might last a little longer in their success compared to other years versus the Braves. They might hit more bumps in the road. So, who do we think is going to win the NL East? I mean, I just said what I think. Jason, what do you think?
Yeah, I get you got to go Philly, but I am not hopping off that Braves bandwagon at all. Especially seeing them in person last year. Holy cow! And then not only that, they didn't get worse; they got better. They brought in a guy like Chris Sale. Yeah, he's getting older, but his line in spring training so far this year has been crazy. And then they bring back Duvall, and he's just going to be a depth piece. So I'm going to stay on this Braves team for as long as they keep doing what they do. Now, when we get to the postseason talk, it'll shift a little bit. But for the division, yeah, Atlanta.
Liam, what do you think?
I'm gonna go Atlanta also. Like you said, bringing in Sale is big, especially if he can stay healthy. I know he's past couple years have been rattled with some injuries, but if he can stay healthy, he's still a great pitcher. Um, and that Braves offense, no matter what, that lineup is going to be dangerous. I'm with Jason. I can't hop off the Braves.
All right, so let's get to the NL Central. Who do we think is going to win the NL Central, Jason?
Um, this one, see, it sucks whenever you get outside like these, like just massive, divisions like the NL East or the AL East, because then you get, the Central where on paper last year I said St. Louis was going to run away with that division, and then they they totally crapped the bed. So I guess I'm going to ride Milwaukee. I mean, they were the better team last year. Um, I can't remember off the top of my head exactly what all they did this offseason, but nothing blockbuster that makes me think that they can at least go out there and repeat what they did last year. So I'm going to go the Brewers this year, even though I will say the Reds. I really like the Reds, but I still think they're a little too young.
Liam, who do you think is going to win?
Um, I'm gonna go with a little bit of a dark horse in that division. I feel like um, the Cardinals have been dealing with injuries, and I'm just not too high on Milwaukee. It seems like they're just hit and miss. I'm going to go with the Cubs to win that division. I just feel like they have some good pieces. They have Bellinger back. I think if their pitching staff can, improve from last year, that they can win the NL Central, and that division's just a toss up for me anyway. But I'll lean Cubs.
I I'm really just I'm not on the Cubs right now. I thought about the Brewers, but I'll go all in on the Reds. They are very young, but at times last year they looked like the future of all of the MLB. It was they were one of the most fun teams to watch last year, at times. And I think there's going to be growing pains. I don't think they're going to get to like 100 wins. I don't think they're going to be that good right away. I do think they'll get 90, 95 wins somewhere around there. I think they'll have a good year. And I think the Brewers still get in the playoffs, but yeah, the Reds, if they can if they can just play to their potential, they could easily be the best team, one of the best teams in the NL if they play to their potential. But that's where, like we're saying, like experience matters, and I think they'll hit some bumps in the road when they play certain teams with more experience. Who's gonna win the NL West? Liam?
The Dodgers. Signing Shohei and then what's his name? Yamamoto. Like I don't see anybody else in that division can keep up. I think the Dodgers are 100-win team again. And adding Shohei, I know there's been talks that he's just gonna do DHing since his elbow, but still that is a huge thing in the lineup, and nobody else in that division I think can even come close to the 100 wins that I feel like the Dodgers are gonna get.
Jason, how about you for the NL West?
As of right now, I'm going to say the Dodgers. I do think though that this whole controversy around Shohei and his interpreter and all the gambling news that's coming out, man, if it comes out that Shohei was somehow involved, man, this whole Dodgers thing could get blown off the rails really quick. Um, but I mean, MLB put out a statement yesterday that said, as of right now, he's not under investigation. So I'll stick with the Dodgers. I do like though what the Giants are doing. Then that late swipe of I was almost say Chris Sale. It's Blake Snell. I like that pickup, and they're adding pieces. So, but yeah, for now I'm going to go Dodgers too.
Yeah, I like what the Giants are doing too. I think the Giants are doing really some of the additions they made this offseason was fantastic. I think there's gonna be some chemistry issues, so that's where I am going Dodgers. I think I'd be shocked if they didn't get 100 wins this year. They You add Yamamoto, you add Otani. It doesn't matter, like you said, Liam. It doesn't really matter if you eliminate his pitching. He's still an MVP as a batter. You add that pitching, and it's like you get two players essentially that are elite MVP style players, but in one dude. Yeah, I don't. Dodgers are. I think the Dodgers make a deep run this year, and I think they blow away the NL West. But I think the Giants do make it interesting later in the season. All right, so for the AL East, Jason, who do you think's gonna win the AL East?
Again, this comes back to Cole. If we get Cole back and he only misses like a month of the season, I think we can win the division, especially with the pieces we added. But that's going to be the lingering thing. So I'm getting attacked here. Um, it's between Baltimore and the Yankees for me. Like I said, the Yankees they're not trustworthy with injury news. So for that fact alone, I'm gonna I'm gonna I'm gonna jump off the Yankee bandwagon and go Orioles for the East.
Liam, who do you think wins the AL East?
Um, I'm also gonna go the Orioles. They were a 100-win team last year, and I feel like they've gotten better. They also have really great young talent that could be up in the majors at some point this year. And I think, like Jason was saying, the injuries, especially Garrett Cole, if he's not 100% in a while, then I feel like the Orioles will take that division.
Yeah, I mean, I have the Orioles winning. I originally was gonna have a piece talking about Jackson Holiday, but they just sent him to the minors a couple hours ago, so he won't be on the opening day roster. And I've heard great things about Jackson Holiday, so I can't wait to see him actually play on the Orioles. They added Corbin Burns. I'm really excited about this Orioles team. I think they're a team that they have experience. They have some experience now. They just need to find more consistency and kind of show the rest of the league that they're one of the best teams. And I trust that they can do that. I see 100 wins, and yeah, the Yankees. I haven't been blown away by the Yankees. Like you had Soto, but like I've seen this before with not just with the Yankees, but with other teams. Like the Padres. I've seen the Mets do it every year. I feel like the Mets do this every year. But I haven't been blown away by the Yankees. I don't know if they're gonna make the playoffs. Um, they're just they're scaring me in terms of I don't know how this team. The only way this team is like World Series bound to me is if Soto plays to that MVP level again, and I don't know if he can. If Aaron Judge plays that same level, and the rest of the team kind of leans and feeds off of that. So, and I just don't think they have it. And I think the Orioles do.
Well, it's injuries too. That just kills us every year. I mean, we played what the second half of the season without Rizzo. Then obviously we missed Judge for half the year, and then yeah, now our rotation. It's even if everybody stays healthy, Baltimore is probably still the stronger team. And then the Yankees also, I mean, they lose any accountability because they brought back Aaron Boone as the manager. So I'm over that dude.
All right. So, who do we think's gonna win the AL Central? Liam?
I would love to say the Royals, but I know the AL Central's not good. I just don't think the Royals are going to be able to take a big enough step with the signings they did. Maybe in a season or two they can, but I think I'm still going to lead with the Twins. They've won the AL Central the past couple years. They may have lost Sonny Gray, but I still think they're the best team in that division, which I guess isn't saying much, but
Jason, who do you think wins?
Um, man, last year I went Guardians and they kind of let me down. Um, yeah, this is one, man. I feel like it could go a couple different ways. I think I'll do Twins as well. And for whatever reason, I a team that could sneak in and swipe it, I think might be Chicago. They just I don't to me they have that look and that feel. But yeah, for now I'm gonna stay Minnesota.
Yeah, for me, this is the least exciting division. I don't expect anyone in this division to really pop off at any given time. I'm going the Twins. They're heavy favorites right now, and I just I don't know. You might see a team like Chicago go and win that division with like they might bring in some younger guys. If if a team in that division kind of plays like the Reds did last year, they could easily win that division. But this division kind of sucks. I'm going Twins. I don't really have much else to say about this division. Who do you think's gonna win the AL West, Jason?
I think we finally knock Houston off and the Rangers take it. I mean, they're just they got so hot last year. Obviously, went all the way to the World Series and won it. And I think it's their time in the West now.
Liam, how about you?
I think I'm still going to stick with the Astros. Last year, they dealt with tons of injuries, and I feel like getting everybody else healthy, I think the Astros are still going to be the team to beat in that division.
Yeah, I'm also going with the Astros. I agree. There was a lot of injuries the Astros went through last year, and still look at how far they went and what they did. I think the Rangers will definitely threaten, and I think this will be a really close division. Um, Mariners, last year I think I picked the Mariners. I think the Mariners were my surprise team last year. I think I had them going to the World Series. They suck, but yeah, I mean, Mariners might sneak in as a wild card team, but I doubt that. It's between the Rangers and Astros. I really thought about it, but like you said, Liam, it they went through injuries last year, and yet they still went as far as they did. So I'm gonna go with the Astros. All right. So for those who are watching this for the first time, one of our first season previews, we have our own individual awards that we give out that are very different from most of the awards that the MLB gives out, like AL MVP, NL MVP. We have a player of the year that we give through every single sport. For baseball, it's the Diamond Player of the Year. So this is combined regular season and playoffs. Who do we think is going to be the best player in all of baseball this season? Jason.
Y'all are going to call me a homer because of this pick. Normally, everybody would just jump out and say Shohei, but we already touched on it. He's probably not pitching this season, so that takes away that unanimous factor to me. I'm going to go Juan Soto, and I'm simply basing it off the fact is this is his season to prove what he's worth because everybody's already projecting him to just get a massive payday next offseason. And everything we've seen so far in spring training, I mean, he's hit, I think, like 6, 7 home runs already in spring training. I just think this is gonna be him go out and say, all right, I'm worth that massive contract next year. So I think Soto's gonna put up. I'm gonna go out and even say he's gonna put up 50 homers.
Liam, what do you think? Who do you think's going to win?
Kind of like Jason said, normally with Otani pitching, it would be Otani 100%. But I'm also going somebody else. I'll stay in the AL East, but I'm going to go Adley Rutschman. I feel like he was really good last year and he was young. He's still young. And I feel like he's going to keep making strides of improvement and he's due for a breakout year this year.
It's crazy to think about. Like when I was trying to figure out, I was like, who's gonna win? Because last year when we all predicted Otani to win last year in our predictions. And I don't think we all put it in our heads that like, is Otani gonna do anything in the playoffs? And he didn't. He got hurt. Never mind, he got hurt at the end of the year. The Angels didn't make the playoffs. So that really, when we were thinking about who do we think's going to win Diamond Player of the Year, and we were trying to figure out who's going to win, we ended up picking Acuna, and because he had postseason success, and I'm sure a lot of people would be frustrated saying, "Oh, Otani at his peak was playing better than everybody else." Yeah, he also got hurt. I nearly put Adley Rutschman. I woke up this morning and I was like, I might pick him. Then I was thinking, I have to think about who's going to go and have a great year and then be in the postseason and have some success. And not necessarily winning like the World Series or anything. You don't even have to go to the World Series. If you have a great year and then you go to the playoffs, have a semi-deep run and you're successful, then that's fine. And that's where I'm picking Otani. I think last year, even if you eliminate his pitching, last year he's on the Angels. I I think in hindsight's 2020, but none of us really should have picked Otani because I don't think any of us thought the Angels were going to go to the playoffs last year. But now he's on the Dodgers. Dodgers are probably going to make a deep run, and who's going to be one of the best players on that team? Shohei Ohtani. So I'm that's my pick. I think Otani's going to have a great year. Acuna's probably going to have a great year. Adley Rutschman, he was my dark horse. So I like Liam. I like your pick, Juan Soto. I think if Juan Soto has a big year and the Yankees, like I said, they build off of that success, I absolutely could see Juan Soto winning this year. All right, so let's get to who we think's going to win the NL and the AL. So, Liam, who do you think wins the NL and AL?
Um, the National League, I'm definitely going Dodgers. They've had some good signings, bringing in Otani, Yomamata, or yeah. I just
Yamamoto.
feel, yeah, can't say
Say his first name, Liam.
it. I'd rather not. Um, but I feel like they're just going to be the team to beat, and I don't think anybody will be able to knock them off on the National League side. I feel like the Phillies or even Braves might give them a run for their money and come playoff time, but I just don't see them being able to actually knock off the Dodgers. And then the American League, I'm going to go the Orioles. I think that they have all of their young players have at least a year of experience. Most of them, even young minor league system. I feel like if they can make that stride, they could surprise a lot of people and make a deep run.
Jason, who you think's going to the World Series?
Okay, so earlier when we were doing the NL East, and I said I'm not jumping off the Braves bandwagon. Well, the regular season, that's true, but we get to the postseason, and I'm all off them now. After what they did last year, no, I'm not touching them. I will stay in that division though, and I think your Phillies are going to win the NL pennant. Uh, Something about there's New York playoff baseball and there's Philadelphia playoff baseball. Those are the two most electric playoff atmospheres. And if somehow Philly can get a home field advantage, I know in baseball there's really not, even though you get like an extra game, but boy, not a lot of people want to go to Philadelphia and play baseball in October. And I mean, they about did it again last year. So I'm going to go Philly. The Braves, they give off this Dallas Cowboy vibe to me. They're just, I mean, they did win the World Series, but yeah, I'm going to go Philly on the NL side. And the AL side, I think Texas goes back. Um, yeah, I really like that roster. And then they got hot. I know they got hot at the right time, and that's kind of what propelled them. But, something about them. I like them. So that's my picks.
Um, all right, well, this isn't fun. I have the same as Liam. I have the Dodgers and Orioles. Um, the Dodgers, I don't. The Dodgers before, I thought like they're like we all thought like, all right, they're choking sometimes, but they're still making deep runs. They're still making these deep runs, and then they go out and add Otani and Yamamoto. So, that was that's the rich getting richer. And I don't know who can beat this Dodgers team. The
The Padres
Orioles,
they just did it.
okay, true. um, the Orioles, that's kind of my sneaky pick, but now it's not so sneaky because Liam's also picking the Orioles. But they're young. They're kind of exciting. I thought about the Reds a little bit, but I was like, nah, I don't really don't I don't really like the Reds all that much. But I just like certain players on that team, and it's hard not to root for them. But the Orioles, yeah, they have a lot of young guys. They got guys who are coming up from the minors that are probably going to be all stars eventually in the coming future. Um, they look really exciting. So yeah, I'm gonna go sort of a David versus Goliath sort of situation with Dodgers Orioles. So final question: who do we think is gonna win the World Series? Liam, I'll start with you.
I will stick with the Dodgers. I feel like with my picks, the Orioles are young, and I think if they do match up, I think the Dodgers are going to have that experience. And I just think the Dodgers, with those signings, are just the best team in baseball right now.
Jason, how about you?
I'm surprised you didn't pick your boys because that's my pick to win the World Series this year is Philadelphia. So yeah, just solely based on, like I said, that whole just that playoff atmosphere, man. And Bryce Harper's been my favorite player in baseball since he came into the league. And playoff Bryce is just a different monster too. And yeah, I know everybody loves the Dodge and that's the sexy pick, but like I said, man, they got to go out and prove it. Kind of like everybody was all over the Jets this past year. I know Rogers got hurt, but still. So yeah, I'm going Philly. They're my pick.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to pick Philly, but I can't because then people are gonna see me as a homer, and I'm just
It's not a
gonna
homer when they're a good team. Now,
they
if you were a Royals fan and you said they're going to win the World Series,
Hey, they could get hot.
yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it's one of those things that like the Dodgers have this roster that like in all sports, sometimes these moves, these like free agency acquisitions or these trades in the offseason look they're bigger than what we think. Like it almost reminds me of when the Warriors got Kevin Durant. And it's obviously the Warriors were already a dynasty. The Dodgers are not a dynasty by any means. But like I said before, rich getting richer. You have the Dodgers who are, if even if you took away a Yamamoto and Otani, they're still one of the top teams who could go to the World Series. You just add Otani, and I don't, none of us really know how good Yamamoto is going to be. Everything I've seen, he looks really good. But
His first
I
start did not go so good.
Yeah.
true. Uh, but I don't know. This looks like a super team. And you know what? Super teams tend to choke later in the year. So, and this goes for every sport. Um, yeah, I gotta pick the Dodgers. I agree with you, Liam. The Orioles that's where they're too young. Like you can almost be too young for certain years. Like if you're playing against certain teams who have the experience, like that's great and all. Like last year, you got the Rangers and the Diamondbacks who had some inexperienced guys on that team who really, I mean, I don't think any of us really thought either of those teams were going to be in the World Series. But, you get hot at the right time. And I think the Orioles are going to get hot, but there's this like behemoth in the Dodgers. And yeah, I got to pick the Dodgers. So, all right. Thank you guys for coming. Once again, good luck to you both in this season and good luck for let's hope for a great season of baseball. I'm excited because I'm a Phillies fan. I love the atmosphere. I get to experience it. See, here's my thing. I've experienced the bad Phillies baseball atmospheres, and they're still great. I love it. I've always loved going to Phillies games, even when we sucked. This is just a whole other level. Um, like when I see these games and what other people seeing, I saw that on a normal basis. I remember Roy Halladay pitching, and I remember going to his games, and there being fans all around the stadium. So, yeah, that playoff baseball atmosphere, I can't wait. I mean, still got like over half a year we got the whole season to go. So,
I love going to
yeah.
Royals games too. There's no traffic afterwards.
There's no traffic going there either.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming.